Good morning, Heather. Happy Monday.
Hi, Michelle. How are you doing today?
You know what? I'm good. I mean, we're here in Arizona, so we are a small part of the country that is not snowed in, frozen in, iced in today.
I know, don't you love that?
Yeah, actually, I do appreciate that. And we are sending big blessings to everyone who is snowed in, iced in, and all of those things. I mean, it's interesting because one of the gifts that the universe gives us, even though that can appear to be a challenge, is that opportunity for things to stop, for us to really be like, okay, let me tune in. What do I need, right? It might be your time if you're in one of these locations today where you play your favorite music, you light a candle, you journal, you just use this time for you, and really kind of go inside and see what you're going to need for yourself moving into this new year.
Yeah, I look back on like the time, when we had COVID and we were inside for a really long time. And yes, it was like scary and uncertain, but there were so many like great memories made just sitting at home with my kids and playing games and like having that family time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as frustrating as it might be, try to make the most of it. It is just a period of time, and this too will pass, right?
It will. It will. We
Yeah,
have lots
it's
to talk
pretty.
about today, don't we, Michelle?
We do. We have a lot to talk about today. So, first of all, I want to announce to everyone I'm really excited because I have partnered with Sedona Crystal Vortex. And what they do is they have really beautiful crystals. They have, I believe, 5 shops up in Sedona. And so, what they're pushing this month, which is so amazing, are these hearts, right? Coming up with love and all of that. So, this is the carnelian heart and the rose quartz, and they're really very grounding, heart opening, powerful. So Aiden's going to add a link. They're giving everyone a 10% off if you order online. It's the coupon code Michelle10. But they just really give you kind of this great meditate because the energy on them is very grounding and yet heart opening. So it's a good time to order one for yourself or someone that you love.
Those are beautiful. I always love the rose quartz. It's absolutely gorgeous.
It really is. And it's got such a like a truly a heart opening thing. Interesting. This weekend I was up in Carefree at the Rare Earth Gallery, and they have this giant seat made out of rose quartz in the shape of a heart. I literally sat down in that. You can just feel the love starting to move through you. So it was a beautiful experience. And the rose quartz really is heart opening. Also, very good if you're grieving, because it helps you to kind of access the ability to move that grief.
I kind of just started laughing when you started talking about that because it's like you read my mind. I was going to bring it up because I saw you post that picture of you sitting in that giant heart online. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that is so Michelle.
Oh my gosh. Well, and with that, let's kind of move into like our message today because it's really more like predictions from the angels about 2026. And so the message is this: the lessons always love. Okay. And that is what I posted with that picture of me sitting in that rose quartz. But what the angels are talking about is there's going to be what we will perceive as some chaos happening in the world this year. It's already started happening. But what they're wanting to say to you is don't get distracted. So we get distracted by things that are on the news and things that we hear about. We are here to make this world a better place. So I want to say that first and foremost for every soul that is on this planet right now. But we have to be able to cultivate the love and peace within before it can have the ripple effect on the outside world. So if you are watching the news and this is keeping you up at night and you are having anxiety and you are freaking out, guess what energy and ripple effect you are putting out into the world, right? You're putting out that energy. If you can maybe take a short break from the news and find some love and peace within, that is the ripple effect that you're putting out. So this year, much like a picnic blanket, humanity is getting ready to go through some big changes. This is kind of like the dusting off, right? So think about it. If you were on a picnic blanket, you're going to shake the blanket to get the grass off it before you fold it up, right? Things are getting shaken off right now that need to come to light, that need to be let go of, and that need to be acknowledged. But we really want to do this from the observer standpoint. I'm not saying don't make this world a better place. We need to do that. But think about your energy. It's never been more important for us to have what I would say the ability to control where we're putting our thought and our emotions than it is now, right now.
Thanks, Michelle. Such good advice going into this new year with all the things that are going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can get distracted into a rabbit hole that is really challenging and not going to be productive for us. Or we can also acknowledge these things are happening. This is what I feel like I can do to make this world a better place and show up in that vibration of love and that frequency.
Thanks, Michelle. Now we'll dive into our questions, and we just want to thank all of our members. So I will always read the questions first from our members. So thank you all for joining. So our first one is just a message from Anne, and she says, I received a copy of your book, 111 Angel Messages. Thank you for these inspirational reminders. So.
Oh, well, thank you, Anne. Thank you for bringing that up and sharing that. You know, again, these books are here to remind us that we are all souls having this human experience. And we really want to take this opportunity to focus on cultivating love and peace within.
And then our next question is from a member, Diane, and she asks, any messages from Chelsea?
Yeah. So it's kind of like the first thing that I see is like life is a playground, right? So the message is starting with this: go have fun, go allow yourself to go outside and live and be excited and find awe and find wonder in all of these things that are happening around you. I want to say this: there are like chimes, so either wind chimes or a doorbell chime, some type of chime that I'm hearing right now. So you might even be at the grocery store and someone's phone rings and it's a chime sound. I want to connect Chelsea with the chime sound as you are getting ready to kind of go play. It's almost like the other thing too, a lot of noises coming in. So I will say the other thing I'm hearing is like the school's out bell, kind of like that sound, right? So you've been working really hard. Now's your opportunity to go play and to go find that magic and wonder.
Thanks, Michelle. And this next question is from another one of our members. Hi, Michelle. I'm wondering if my mom's guides have any messages for her right now. She has had some time off work, and I'm wondering if there is a message I can give her. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So the guides are showing me with your mom. I don't know. I just feel like I'm in a fog, or I'm feeling like I'm a little bit like looking for clarity. Here's the energy with your mom. She is going to be picking up around mid-February. So that energy feels like she'll have a little bit of a fog for the next couple of weeks. Mid-February, things start rolling for her. They're showing me sunlight coming in literally. So a break in the clouds. And things are going to be moving forward. The thing for her to do right now is to start thinking about what she wants to bring into her life, because this is kind of a manifestation period that I feel for your mom. And so having that choice again of being like, okay, I'm going to be in more of a daydream energy than a nightmare energy, right? Really important for her right now, because mid-February, things will start moving.
Thanks, Michelle. And our next question is from a member as well. Hi, Michelle. What can you share about Courtney's health journey and the direction it's moving?
Yeah. So when I tap into that energy, I go up and down and up and down. So it's just like I feel like I'm up a mountain, down a mountain. It's very zigzaggy. I want to say that starting March, the energy is just more stable and it feels like it's progressing in a positive way. But the stability is what we're looking for, because the up and down, to me, it's like we got to regulate and stabilize the body first, and then we move on. A lot of this is going to be connected with her mind and her thoughts. So remember, our body's always listening to us. So if we're telling ourselves bad stories or things about I'm not healthy, I'm sick, I'm all of these things, our body is kind of amplifying that energy. Her body has room and space to heal. So March is the time frame for that to really stabilize and move in a positive direction.
Thanks, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
Next question is from another member as well. I recently rescued a young cat. He was starving, needed vaccines, etc. But it isn't going well with my elderly dog. Seems Kitty has too much energy. Do you see me being able to rehome him?
I do. I feel like you'll be able to rehome him. Again, that feels like it's about 6 to 8 weeks away. So I would say you're kind of going to buckle down. Here's the other thing I'm going to tell you. I feel like there's a very good chance this cat will end up staying with you too, because the energy in this timeline is like, yes, you'll find somebody that you can rehome it to, but then you might be like, but I really like this cat. We've really bonded. And so I feel like that's a very, very strong possibility for you. The cat and the dog are never going to be best friends. I can see that, but I do feel like they will come into a little bit more of a harmonious relationship. But your dog's always going to ignore the cat. Probably is kind of the energy that I'm getting.
Kind of sounds like a older sibling, younger sibling type of a thing.
Absolutely, right?
All right, our next question. Hi, Michelle. If our higher self is still on the other side and other parts of our soul are simultaneously experiencing other timelines, when do all parts of soul fully join together?
I love that. That is a great question. So
Great.
it is. It's going to depend on the soul plan, right? So it's not going to be like there's one moment in time where every single soul like unifies in that way. But what it's going to be is what that soul is wanting to learn or the plan. So when we're talking about being able to see into other lifetimes or that interdimensional, we have other lifetimes going maybe on other planets right now. The soul is learning. It's gathering information, right? It's like, in a way, it's all about being in school. You take a math class, an English class, a science class. This is what our soul is doing. So the unification period will happen when that soul is wanting it to, but because the evolution of each soul is individual, as well as the courses and the lessons that it wants to learn, it's going to be on an individual timeline.
Thanks, Michelle. Next question. I think my son is really struggling and we are not sure how to help him. What are his guides saying about him getting a job and his future? How can we help him? He is in his 30s.
Okay. So when I go into his energy, the first thing that I feel is depression. So I wanna talk about that. They're showing me too that it's going to be affected by something going on, almost like diet wise. So I don't know if he, if we eat a lot of like sugar and carbs, it can increase anxiety, things like that. There's kind of a connection to his diet that I want to talk to. They're saying brain fog too, so I want to acknowledge that. But the depression feels like it's there. We're really going in. We, as in his guides, are talking about him realizing like his worth, because I think right now we have across the board, and I'm seeing this a lot with kind of my kids, their friends between 20s to 30s. There's almost like this generation that feels lost. I feel like they are saying, who are we? What am I doing here? Right? Because they've checked the boxes. Maybe they've gone to college and now they can't get a job. So they're like, well, I did everything I was supposed to and now I can't get a job. But they're almost like a little bit of a lost generation. Also, they are on like social media a lot or video games, right? So they've disconnected. Part of with your son, what I'm feeling, and the reason why the angels are bringing this up right now and the guides, he's disconnected from himself. So when we disconnect from ourselves, a very natural side effect of that is going to be depression, because we are either rejecting, suppressing, or just literally disconnected from the whole of who we are. So one of the things that you guys can do to help him, obviously counseling would be a great option for him if he's open to that, but it's really about feeding into his self-worth, reminding him of the things that he's really good at, reminding him that this universe holds a million opportunities for each of us. And when we limit it and say it has to be option A or B, we're the ones limiting it. So really stepping into with him unlimited possibilities, but his diet has something to do with this because they keep bringing that up.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question was an email submission. And it says, I have often heard you talk about life plans and exit points. We know life is often quite challenging and messy. My question is about entry points. Do plans have to begin with our usual birthing and family processes, or can a plan have a delayed entry point, such as age 21? If delayed entry is possible, would the time before entry be scripted in such a way as to create a family history and academic history? Definitely want to be well informed and to start early on scripting my next life plan.
I love that. You can't start too soon, right? Just know this, you will perceive it differently when you're at home in the heavenly realm writing it than you do when you're here in the human form writing it. But I definitely am all about, yes, start cultivating some ideas of what you want. So we do have what is called walk-ins. And walk-ins are going to be, so yes, a soul plan. The short answer is yes, a soul plan can start later in life. However, we have to come into this lifeline and this timeline some way, and that is going to be through birth. But what happens is we have, and I only know a couple people, so this is not super common, but this does happen. A walk-in would be a soul that comes in when another soul leaves. So let's talk about that lifeline or timeline of that soul. It needs to continue here on planet Earth for a reason. So one example I know is a woman whose family told her she had, like, I think it was a bicycle accident and a head injury. And when she was 10, the first 10 years of her life, she was depressed. She was somber. She was like very secluded. She didn't want to connect with anyone. Then she has this head injury and she comes back singing, dancing, laughing, right? So at that point in time, and when she came back, she has absolutely no memory of the first 10 years of her life. So what that tells me is that her energy is a walk in. That soul chose to leave at that point in time for whatever reason. Maybe it was only supposed to be here 10 years. Maybe this life was too hard, whatever you want to, whatever reasons, right? And at that timeline, another soul came into the body and continued the timeline for her. So that's the only way that I know of that we can start at, say, age 10 or 21 or whatever that is. The other thing that I would say about this is sometimes we see on the news people who have a head injury and they come back, they're talking with an accent or they're talking in a language that they never learned in this lifetime. Again, most likely that's a walk-in soul, or it is them tuning into another lifetime that they lived.
Okay, we've talked about a lot of things, Michelle. We've never talked about that.
Well, it's time to bring in something a little bit fresh, I guess.
Yeah, I'm like, my mind's blown right now. I'm like, okay, I have some questions for you for another day. That's
great. You should probably ask me right now because everybody's listening and they want to know.
Well, okay, so how many people have you met that you think have had that experience?
So in my life, this lifetime, I've only met 2 people that I would say this feels right. I have met other people that feel like they've done that, and it's not necessarily what I feel like. Because the other side of this, when people sometimes claim that they're a walk-in, isn't that the soul changed out in the body, but what happens is they embody more of their whole soul. So I'm going to use like my third near-death experience when I had my traumatic brain injury. Literally, that was the one where I'm in the heavenly realm. My guides are telling me you're going to go back. Your marriage is going to end in divorce. You're going to have more trauma, but you've got to come back and you've got to do your mediumship. And so what did I do in that one? It wasn't that another soul came in to finish my timeline, but I almost like embodied more of my soul. So more of my connection and more of my knowing. And those are kind of things that we do. Think about planet Earth. Every soul that's here right now deserves this badge of honor and courage because we are in a really tough game on planet Earth right now, right? And because of that, some souls come in and they touch this life, and a short period of time here is enough, right? Sometimes there are miscarriages, and a lot of times the mom wants to like blame it on themselves or carry the guilt. But what's really happened is that baby has had 3 months in your stomach in the energy of planet Earth, and it's going, oh, no, thank you. And it had nothing to do with this mother at all. It was a soul that came in for 3 months, thought that they were going to have an amazing time here, and then just feeling the difference in energy between the heavenly realm to the earthly realm is enough to make you say, I'm going to go back.
Okay. So like, for example, the girl on the bike.
Yes.
So when the walk-in came in, did that new soul have no recollection of the time before the accident? Is that an indicator of knowing that maybe this is a different soul?
Absolutely. And also that her personality totally changed. So like kind of going back to the question, she didn't lose her intellect as far as like whatever grade she was in, 5th grade or whatever grade you're in when you're 10, it was still the same. So she still had kind of the standing and the work that had happened in the first 10 years of her life. But the personality totally changed. Now we went from somebody who was very somber and depressed to laughing, giggling, literally dancing and doing all of that.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Wow, that's fascinating. It really
It
is.
is. Well, it's really interesting because a lot of times we don't realize, like how we started today, and we were talking about make the most of your time today if you're snowed in or iced in, right? There are literally lines of souls waiting for their opportunity to come into planet Earth, right? So very often we're walking around thinking this is a punishment, this is too hard. How did I end up here? Someone made a mistake. But what we don't realize is on a soul level, the ability to grow here is so intense, and we learn the lesson so well that there are souls lined up for this opportunity. So if one soul decides, I've got to get out, this is too hard, this is too heavy, and a walk-in situation can happen, it will.
So what do you think makes it so, I mean, because there's people that have accidents all the time, right? Have there's things that happen. What constitutes someone being able to walk in versus just that spirit moving on and that body being buried?
Right. So it's always going to be what I learned in my second near death experience. There are at least three levels which life and death are kind of judged on. And then even I'm sure there's another, 3,000 that I just wasn't made aware of. But level number one, can the body sustain life? Sometimes there is such a traumatic event, it is not sustainable. At that point, obviously, there is no soul that can come in and re inhabit the body. The second level is going to be about you and your lifeline, right? So, had I left, who was going to raise my kids? Was my best friend or a sister going to come in? What was that going to look like, right? And then the third level that I'm aware of is literally it's between the soul and God. So there are two things that are 100% in a very divine order in our lifetime. We've created our soul plan that has given us opportunities and challenges and all that. But the moment that we enter and the moment we leave, I will always tell you, is blessed by this higher power, as well as the soul plan that continues in between. But Source knows when we're going home. Here's the challenging side of that, right? Because I work with a lot of parents who have kids in spirit. And so the human part of me is going to tell you no parent should ever outlive their child. That is not okay, ever. And then the medium side of me that connects with spirit knows that that moment was blessed between their soul and God's. And so, in an interesting, divine soul way, the timing was perfect.
Thanks, Michelle. Very interesting. Great question today.
Yeah, thank you for that.
All right, our next question. Hi, I had a dream of a giant, smiling orange snake following me around. I was afraid, but it wasn't going to hurt me. What do you make of a dream like that? I also see slideshows of faces when waking. Interesting.
Yeah, I love that. So, the snake, the first thing that I saw is we're talking about because of the orange, that it's a sacral chakra energy, right? So, this is about balancing your life. Google sacral chakra if you're not familiar, everything you need to know right there. But the orange snake, it's about transformation, it's about shedding, it's about letting go. So, whatever you're holding on to in that energy, what this snake is showing you is kind of like smiling, and it's like, okay, time to shed that skin. You don't need that anymore. Time for growth, time for trusting in yourself. So the energy for this comes in a lot about you. Like, okay, you are safe, you are secure. Who do you want to be?
Thanks, Michelle. And we have another question from a member. I'm missing one piece from a puzzle I completed. Is this just a physical mishap, or is there any message or spiritual meaning behind it?
Yeah, I love that. So very often spirit world is mirroring what's happening in our physical life here on earth. So what I want to say is the missing puzzle piece is not just an oops. It really is about, but they're telling me to use the word fill in the blank. What do you need to fill in the blank for in your life right now? Right. And so think about kind of, again, this is a 1 year numerology. What do you want to bring in, not just this year, but this is the year we plant the seeds? What do you want to bring in your future in the next 9 years? This is a really important year. So the missing piece is not, there's being very clear. It's not because there's something missing within you, but it's almost about allowing yourself to dream about what you want to bring in. So you get to fill in the blank on this one.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. Thank you for all you do, Michelle. There has been distance and anger between my dad, brother, and I for 2 years now. Do we have a soul contract? Can you tell me about this? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for thanking me. I appreciate that. Here's the thing. 100% you have a soul contract, because we're talking about a brother and a father. So that is something that would be in your soul plan or your blueprint. You don't randomly or accidentally get assigned a brother or a dad. So there's a soul agreement here. The first thing the angels are showing me is going back to what we were talking about earlier, right? Because you have the ability to create a space of love and peace, but you have to find that within yourself first. And I want to say a couple of things about this. Their personality is hard. Like, I feel like I'm bumping into a brick wall when I'm wanting to either connect with your dad or your brother, whereas your energy feels a little bit more flowy and moving. So I would say I feel like you can see the bigger picture if you want to, but this is about rising above your human story. And that's very often where the situation is. So instead of looking at them as like there's something wrong with them, it's kind of funny if you play this game and you're like, okay, so if I changed who I was and I believe what they wanted me to believe, we would get along fine. So maybe I'm the issue, right? Because I'm not going to change to who they want me to. That's the energy that I'm feeling here. You don't have to be, too often people get stuck in, I need to be right. And that is really not usually. I mean, look, if you're a neurosurgeon, you need to be right. You are going in to remove a tumor or work on a spinal cord, you need to be right. But too often in our human life, most things are not at that level. And so for you, I want you to kind of rise above. Remember, forgiveness is not saying it's okay what you've done. Forgiveness is saying, I'm choosing not to carry this anymore. But it's interesting, you're the bridge between your dad and your brother. Your angels are real clear about that. So you can choose to lead with love, and the situation will move more into a streamlined, sweeter energy in the next couple of years, or you can choose to stay in the energy that you're in. Both your dad and brother want to learn from you. I can see that real clearly, but you have to be able to do it in a way that comes from love, not being right.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question: will my current troubles be resolved soon?
So I'm feeling like with that, I when I get the number, I get like around, there's 3 different struggles going on right now, so it's not just one. And what I'm feeling is that they are kind of more wrapped up by April, but that they begin to taper off. So I think like one of them's going to become less, and then a few weeks later, another one. But April feels like that's kind of the energy of you stepping into your life. The other thing that I want to say about struggles, because this is part of kind of our topic today, the more energy we feed them, the more struggle they give us, right? So, again, the universe will give you unlimited options of the way things will work out. But when we get in our human mind and we say it can only be A or B, then we're limiting the universe's ability to help us. So, with that, I want to tell you, don't feed them your energy. I want you to get busy getting happy and seeing them resolving, because that's kind of the energy that helps to move things forward.
Thanks, Michelle. Next question. Good morning, Michelle and Heather. Are there any messages from my dad who passed away in 1995? His birthday was yesterday. Thank you for sharing your gifts.
Yeah, you are welcome. And happy birthday to your dad. So it's interesting. The first thing that I start seeing are planes. So I feel like either you're going to hear planes going over. I want to connect that with dad, or kind of the vapor trails in the sky. You might see them in the shape of an X or a cross, or 3 lines running almost parallel to each other. But your dad is like, his energy for you is like, look up, look up, look up. I haven't missed a moment. And because of that, he's going to be doing things in the air and the sky to get your attention, whether this is loud crows or anything like that. But your dad's energy is really supporting you in moving forward. He's telling me that May is going to be an exciting month for you. I don't know if there's a birthday or anniversary in May also, but he's bringing up May. And it's almost like in May, the energy is you've arrived. So whatever you're working on right now, things get really stable and solid. And you're kind of like, all right, I'm here. Let's go.
Thanks, Michelle. Another question from a member. My sister-in-law is struggling very badly. How can I help her get through this? Or what are guides saying, or what are guides saying on how she can be helped? Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about this. The first way, the guides want me to bring this up because there are a lot of people that need to hear this. The first way that we help someone is by not jumping in the water with them. right? So at some point, when we have traumas, we do need people to listen, whether it's health, mental, emotional, whatever it is, and we need to be able to share that story. And then what happens is, as time goes on, we need people to stand on the shore and be the lighthouse, not be swimming in the water with them. And so your job right now is really to hold that space of hope and love and healing that I feel like is available to her. But there's almost like a loop. So I don't know that this is intentional, but I feel like she loops and she loops. So she might want to just continue telling her story, even though, let's say, maybe she's told it for a year and it's time to take the step forward. But this is the energy of forward momentum. And so anything that you can do that helps bring forward momentum into her life is exactly what she needs right now, because the guides keep saying it's like she's caught in a loop.
Thanks, Michelle. Next question. Hi, Michelle. I'm feeling positive energy around this year for me in the Department of Romance and Career. That said, I'm at a career crossroads and it's very difficult. Am I on the right track?
The answer is yes. So the guides are real clear. You are on the right track. It's fun though, because I do feel like you should feel like excited when you wake up in the morning, even if the career feels difficult, because it does feel like it's a year of all new beginnings, right? And that feels exciting. I feel like your guides are saying you've worked really hard to get to this point. So I mean this emotionally, mentally, and probably even physically with your job to get to the point that you're at. But yeah, I would agree. This is going to be your year. So get excited about it. The work energy kind of seems to smooth out in March. So it might be quite challenging right now, but around March is when I feel things kind of cooling off there.
Thanks, Michelle. Next question. Hi, Michelle. We know there are spirits visiting in our house. Can you tell us what their message is? Also, we have my wife and mother-in-law's cremated ashes in the house. Are spirits attracted to them?
Yeah, that is a great question. So it's interesting because I was feeling female energy. So it is, mother and mother-in-law kind of visiting. I want to say they're checking in because I get the energy of just checking in, probably like they would do in life, just calling to see how you're doing, right? That's kind of the energy that I get. So I feel like they're just visiting to check in on you. Spirits are not connected to ashes. And I will tell you why, because very often on the human side of this, it's a big deal. Where are we going to bury them? Are we going to cremate them? Are we going to spread their ashes? What are we going to do? That's all for our human side. When spirit gets to the heavenly realm and I ask them, I'm like, oh, are you worried about where your body is? They're like, no. It's kind of like me asking you what happened to your coat from first grade. You're like, I don't know. It went to Goodwill. My mom gave it to my sister. My cousin got it. Like, I don't know. How many days do you worry about your coat from first grade? Probably never, right? And that's how they feel about their body, because they know that it was just the vehicle they used while they were here. Or maybe even on that analogy, thinking about the first car you ever had. Do you ever worry about it? Where's that first car I drove? No, you don't worry about it. You're like, okay, here's what I'm driving now. So they're not attracted to ashes or anything like that, because it doesn't matter to them. What they are attracted to is the energy and to the soul connection that they have with the people who are there.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. Hi, Michelle. Hope you're doing well. How will February be for me?
Oh, I love that. So February is really interesting for this person, because February feels like it's going to start off slow and then it's going to pick up. So I feel like the first half of February is going to feel like a continuation of January. But when you get to the second half, it kind of, Chinese New Year, February 17th, there's a lot of that coming in. That's the fire horse energy, right? And so last year was the year of the snake. That was all about shedding, releasing what we don't need to carry with us. Fire horse energy is that this year is going to manifest things really quickly, and for this person specifically. But it's interesting because your new year feels like it almost starts on Chinese New Year more than January 1st. So I would tell you, start to think about what you want to manifest, because that's where I feel like truly this fire energy coming in, and it feels like it'll have a quick turnaround.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question. Love and light to everyone. I'm wondering if there is any guidance from my team. Who are they?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So your team comes in. One of the energies on your team is like a healer energy. So it almost feels like a doctor. But not a doctor from the year 2026. This would be kind of like, a doctor from, I'm actually getting the words like an alternate timeline. So the healing that comes in with this person is going to be really about vibration, frequency, color, light, all of those things, which is kind of where I feel like we'll go when we are more advanced with our healing energy. Whatever you're doing in your life right now, this one's very strong with you. So you have come to be a healer. When I say healer, you could be a massage therapist, you could be a neurosurgeon, you could be anything in between, right? There's a big, vast way to be healers here on planet Earth. But this one is really coming in. Now I'm seeing orbs, I'm seeing rays of light, I'm seeing flickering light. So when you're having this connection, I want to connect it with this life guide specifically, male energy. And also this is about allowing yourself to heal. And what I want to say with that is it's like the touch up energy. So it's not that you have these huge chunks of yourself you need to heal. It's like clean. It's just kind of like the final dusting up or mopping up is the energy that I feel.
Thanks, Michelle. Next question. Hi, Michelle. Can you tell me how to get unstuck? I can't make decisions with the world in such turmoil. Help.
Okay, so this is going to go back to the beginning about, like, first of all, we have to find our peace within. So no matter what's happening in the world around you right now, you've got to start making decisions for yourself that feel good for you. Because when you are in peace and love, the ripple effect is going to be peace and love. When you are in fear and feeling stuck, that's the ripple effect. So the world is going to do what it's done. Look at the history of the planet. Like, it's been chaotic pretty much as long as we know it's existed. There has been something going on. However, you're a very strong soul. So I want to say something about this because your guides are really clear. The reason that you feel stuck is because you're in a place of fear, right? And because you are afraid is why you don't want to choose, because you're afraid that you'll either make the wrong decision or I'll make this decision and then the stock market will go to hell and, whatever these things are, okay? You've got to get to a place of love, and that's where you have to start. So I love myself. So I'm going to do what? I'm going to choose an option that feels right when I'm choosing out of love, not fear. And that's a really big thing for you to start doing. I'm going to use kind of that example of the salad again. I can have a salad for lunch and I can eat it because I'm afraid I'm going to gain weight, or I can eat the exact same salad because I love myself and it's good for me. It changes the energy on it. It didn't change the dressing or anything else, right? It just changed the energy. So think about what you're consuming mentally that is putting you in a state of fear, because whatever this is, we need to turn off the TV. We need to quit reading the news for a week. It's not going to change what's happening in the world if you give yourself the week off from watching. But what it will change is everything inside of you that lets you start to choose from a place of love for yourself, not fear. That is the key to getting unstuck, making decisions out of love, not fear.
Thanks, Michelle. Great question. And our last question for today, can you please ask my guides if I will ever have any discernible mediumship skills?
Yeah, the answer is yes. I feel like you already have them, but you get in your head a lot. So that's kind of what they're telling me. Again, when we are connecting with spirit, it's really hard to think our way there, especially for me. Like, I don't think my way to the answer, I feel my way. So I want you to really focus on opening up your heart energy. Remember, spirit is connecting with us on the frequency of love. So when I do my work, it's because I love my work. I love the people that I connect with. I love, love, love. The frequency of love is really strong. If I'm in my head trying to think, what do they need to hear? We're kind of in trouble. So that's not where you want to come from. You want to come from the space of love and that heart connection that spirit is coming in and always wanting us to be able to live our best life possible. So use your heart energy, see what you feel, see what you find, because that's the road that you want to go down.
Thanks, Michelle. And thank you all for joining us today. And sorry we didn't get to all of your questions. So join us next week and submit those questions again, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much. There's also a membership. We would love to have you join every couple of weeks. There's a new video release. We're going to start doing live readings just for membership only. And we're just so grateful for you and your questions, because one question is something that everybody learns from. So thank you for that and for this opportunity to be here. And thank you, Heather and Aiden. I appreciate you both. Have a beautiful week. Bye.
Bye.